everybody, and welcome on part 2, the styling of this juniper. I had a look at the part 1 video and well, the light was not great, so I remade my whole setup here. So I hope that the lighting will be okay and that it will be an interesting video to watch. So I've been studying this tree and I'd like to show you what I think is a good plan for this tree. So I'm going to come as close as I can with my camera and show you what I think can be done. So I'll start with a 360 of the tree and a slow one. I had to change the angle a little bit, so I did a slightly moving of the tree in the pot. Almost there. So that's a complete 360. Now I'd like to analyze what we have here. Obviously this tree is not supposed to become very high. Was a slug? Okay. And like always you have these little things that you will not need and that we will of course cut off or rip off. But that's not the point here. The first point is to see what we have. Now if you look at the tree from this angle, you see that we have a second trunk here, so this could become a nice side branch. This can be removed. This part here, I'm going to try to show this as best as I can. So this could be removed. You can keep that branch here in the back and this one. That's a possibility. And then we could maybe continue the movement with this branch that is bendable. So that could be interesting. And that's well, a nice movement in the trunk. But then of course we have to get rid of all this, and I'm not sure that this is a good idea because there's some growth here in the back, but probably not enough. So yeah, this could be a front, so to keep that in mind. But then when we look at this side, we have it's a little bit more complicated, but we have a nice movement in the trunk too. It's a nice little curve. It's not exaggerated. I'm trying to follow this on camera so that we are seeing the same thing. So the tree, I can get it. I can get a 1 centimeter more trunk, of course, but here we have a nice slight movement in the trunk, and it is difficult to see because there's a lot of foliage, but if I look a little higher, you see that there is also a very nice curve here. And then the trunk splits in two. This is a thick part. It's probably not a nice part. And then we have a thinner part with a few branches that we can use. And then of course this has to be removed. And we have this great curve starting from here, just moving this branch away. So it goes up to the right, it comes back to the left, and it goes again to the right. So somewhere on this branch, well, I think that my apex is going to be. So I'm going to start with thinking about the apex. So what I'm going to do is remove some of the foliage on this one, because I probably am going to air layer this, and I want to separate this so that we can see where the biggest wire should come. So we have this, it's not helping, it's in the front. We have very little things growing here we don't need, and then this little stuff on this branch, because this is the one that I'm going to get rid of. So I don't need anything there, especially when I think that I'm going to air layer that. I'm going to get rid of everything on that branch, otherwise I cannot put an air layer on that. So I'm going to remove a whole lot of stuff there, just leaving some foliage on it. Okay, probably take cuttings from that too. So that's cleaned up now. Okay, so now I hope it is a little more clear to see what's going on here and how the trunk is going to be. So this is the main trunk going up in this direction. This is an eye poker. I don't like that. I could air layer that, but I don't think that's gonna be any good. So I'll probably just get rid of it. And therefore I'm going to take a bigger plier, or should I air layer it? No, I think that this is really gonna ruin our view, so I'm gonna remove that one. Now the question is, could I use it as a gin? I don't think, but well, you know, can always cut it really off if I want. And this is something that I can see when I'm almost finished. Can always gin it. If I completely remove it now, well, then my options for the gin are gone. Don't want that. Don't be hasty, you know. You're not Ryan Neal, and neither am I. He can see that in 1 second and I cannot. So I still have a nice trunk. This is already gone. Now I have to think. This will go, obviously. So I'm going to end up with a whole lot of nothing here. So these little branches here, well, maybe I won't wire them because they're not strong, but I'm going to leave them. And I said that this one was going to be air layered. So please consider it gone. Then I have on the exterior of this curve, I have a branch here that is quite interesting. It's quite strong, and I have a complete upright branch that is too thin to be a nice air layer. So I'm going to remove that, but also I'm going to leave an option for a gin here. So everything growing on that part I can now remove. Except for these two here. This is a small one, this is a good one, this is very thin. This is a little bit in the back, so, but it's juvenile, so I'm going to remove it. You see it's completely juvenile, and here you see the transition between the juvenile and the good foliage. So this is not what I need here. Remove everything that's growing here. This is not very interesting in the inside. So, okay, now that's what we have. Then we have to think about back branches. So this is the front. So obviously the other side is the back. Now what do we have in the back? Well, in the back we have a very low branch, which is not bendable, but could be air layered and might be a nice gin. And we have a very strong branch here in the back. That's that one, which is way too high, but it separates. Here we have something nice that is flexible. We have a little branch on the other side which is also flexible and usable, and we have this branch here because, oh man, how can I film this? This is the main trunk. This is the part that I want to keep, which is going to be the new apex. And then I have this in the back, and of course it's way too high, but I have a few branches that I can use. So I'm going to start to reduce this. It's again a little thin to make a nice air layer, so this comes off. Okay. So let's have a look at the front again. Now this clears everything up, of course. I should mark the front with a piece of wire or something. Take a little piece of wood here. Here. Like so. This lower branch is way too long. So just going to reduce it. Now remember, pines get their strength from their roots. Junipers get their strength from their foliage. So you don't have to remove too much foliage, and it's better to let the tree recover with too much foliage, because it's gonna bounce back a whole lot better. Okay, so let's focus. This is the air layer. This is the side. Now, this is way too long, and it's too low. I don't think that's an interesting branch here. Of course, you can always keep it as a sacrifice branch and then air layer it later, or it is always possible, because this is going to be some informal upright, it's always possible to do something funny and say, well, I'd like to have some kind of cascading branch here, which could give your tree a character that it would not have otherwise. So I'm not sure about this one, and if I cut it off, it's definitely going to be a gin. So I'm going to leave it for the time being. This is going to be ginned, this is the air layer, and now we have two branches here. We have a small one here, which is not bad. We have a bigger one here, and that's an interesting one, but of course way too long, so let's reduce that. Okay. Now we still have to find some good stuff for the back. So we have a whole lot of branches that we can use. This one is too thin and it's right under this one, so I'm going to get rid of that. And now I still have to find some solutions for the back. Now in the back we had this fork of tree. Here we have this one, and then this one that is way too heavy. So if I keep that and that, I'll probably have more than enough stuff to work with. So I'm going to remove that part and everything that grows on it, and again leaving the possibility for a gin. So everything that lives on this branch I'm going to reduce. Well, not reduce, remove. Okay. Then I have a clear view on all the little stuff growing here now, which I will definitely not use. See all this little stuff. That has to go. This has to go. This. Okay. This is very weak. I think I'm almost getting somewhere. And again, I studied this tree and the possibilities for over an hour, trying out different angles. So yeah, I'm not Ryan Neal, like I said. I need time to do this right. So that starts to look fine, I think. The back branches are still way too long. So I'm going to reduce them. Like so. And it makes, well, quite a consistent carnage cam already. But I think we can see, slowly but surely, the start of this nice curving tree. Now, one thing that I don't like is that this new apical region is straight as a pencil, and yeah, that's not good. So in the apex now, I'm going to try to show you that a little better. So this is the trunk going up. Here we have the would-be gin, and then we have this straight section here that I don't like, but I have a small branch here and a thick branch there. Now, I don't think that the thick branch helps here, because it's, well, if you look at the taper, it's not good. So I think that here I have my new apex with this branch. So I'm going to remove that portion here and that one. So I now have my apex. Do I want a gin here? I don't think so, but it's possible. Anyway, if I don't want this stuff to grow, well, there's no reason to keep foliage on that. So now I decided where the top of the tree was. It's gonna be somewhere here. And of course this is a little high, so let's remove the tip. So this is the top of the tree. This is not existing. Then we have to look at the back. And the back is a little higher than the top, which is not good. So I have to reduce a part of this. Especially this branch, which is not too thick and can be wired quite easily. So do I want this? Maybe if I can put a little movement in it, it might be interesting. But the way it is now, that's not gonna work. I also have little stuff growing all over the place that I should remove. Nice flaky bark on these junipers, always fun. Yeah, it's definitely too long also, I think. I don't think I'm going to need that. I'll probably work with this in the back, and with the new apex, well, this can be a back branch. So I'm going to keep that. I don't think that I'm going to need that. It's really too thick. But I'll keep an option for a gin. So again, I can remove all this. Okay, and now I think it's time to pause. I'm going to clean up what I have. I'm going to leave these ones. I'm going to clean up and I'm going to have a look and evaluate what I should do next. So, no hurry. It's the first styling. It's an important moment for this tree. Well, I think before I do anything else, I'm going to wire this branch and this branch. See if I can position them, and then it will give me a better idea what to do with the new top of the tree. So I'm going to take a little piece of wire and then wire it, and that's the next step. So the wire on this branch is, well, you can see the coil, and that's because I now want to grab the wire here and bring this branch a little more to the back. And also, as you see, we have growth growing down, growth growing up, and by doing that gradually I can make this pad a little more flat. Which makes these pieces of growth a lot more usable. So I'm taking the wire and turning, and I'm doing that on different spots. There's also one here. Okay, so now you see I have a flat pad, and I can do the same with this one, but I don't think that I need it as much in the back. Wait a second, because I can't see, as the previous one. No, I just want it to be a little more cascading maybe. I don't think that I'm going to keep this branch, but For starters, I will. It's giving a whole lot of nutrition to the tree because, well, I might cascade it just for fun. And anyway, if I keep it, it's gonna be as a gin, so I might as well give it a little shape. Like so. It's not wired here, because here I can do with a smaller wire. So I prefer to do different coils of different sizes. But I think I can give it a little movement with this one. Like so. Okay, let's see. Yeah, obviously this branch is useless, I think. It's too low. And this branch is nice, but it could use some movement here. So I'm going to get it down and then up. And I think that's going to be a whole lot better, but I have to see from a distance. Yeah, that's okay. It's a little high, I think, so probably just going to cut back up to here. Yeah, that's better. Do I need all this foliage, and especially this juvenile foliage? No, but I need foliage on the juniper, so I'm not going to touch that. Okay, it's the day after I've been doing some thinking and looking and all these things. And as you probably can see, I have put 2 towels on the branches that I don't think I'm going to need, but that are worthy of air layering. So this is the front, somewhere here, somewhere there, something, well, here. Now, the next step in the thinking process is, of course, the apical region. So here, this is going to disappear, it will be ginned. We have some foliage here. It's rather thin, so I don't think it's going to be easy to wire this. On the other hand, in the back here I have 2 branches that are a little stronger. They are already woody, but still very thin, so I'm not sure that I can wire that. It's maybe a better idea to let this grow and thicken and get stronger. Maybe remove the tips when you see that it's growing. But what I need to do now is to get this pencil straight piece with a little more bended. So I'm going to have to put some raffia here, and then I have to consider that if I want to bend this, I want branches on the exterior of the bend. So this is my only good branch here on this side. So I want this at the exterior of the bend. So the bend is going to be here. So from this point on, this part here should come to the left. And then I have to counterbalance this to be the apex. And then a thing that I like to do to create a little more foliage in the apex is to take the apex, the real apex here. Is it on camera? No, it is not. The real apex here, and then bend it down and make this little piece, for example, the apex. So I'm a little bit afraid of the bending here, so I'm going to apply some raffia. So I'll do that I prepared some wet raffia, so let's do this. So of course I want to make sure that the branches that I need are not stuck inside the raffia. Some of the branches are very small, very thin, so I'm going to anchor my raffia for starters here at the branch that I'm not going to need anymore. Oh boy. The reason why I put raffia on the other branch is because I'm going to anchor my wire there. So this is the tricky part. This is where you don't want your branch to break. Well, you don't want your branch to break anywhere, but it's here that's going to be the big bend. Well, not that big, you know. And I'm probably going to use two wires, one on top of this branch here and one at the bottom. So that I have a little more support. This is also a fragile point. So a little piece of raffia here can help. Okay. So like I said, I'm gonna probably cut this off, but it's absolutely nothing urgent here. So to secure my raffia, it's always the same problem. Just going to cut it here. And then open it up. Put it over this would-be gin. Left, right, and then make a knot. And that's going to secure it. And because bonsai is supposed to be something beautiful, well, cut off the loose ends. Okay. And same here. Like so. Now, a wire from here to there, and maybe the first wire I'm going to continue it up the apex, and the second I'll just have to stop there. I'm going to use this. Maybe it's a little light. I'm going to start with the light one and then put a thicker one to double it. I'm going to do it in the other direction. It's not going to be very visible on camera, but okay. So a hook here. And now I have to think, do I no, this has to be the lowest one. And I'm just gonna need, I think, that. Here it's a delicate operation. Don't want to trap all your foliage. So yeah, this takes time. And as you see, I'm supporting the branch with every little bend that I make. And this foliage is very, very fragile. I just broke off a little piece. Well, it's not a disaster, but it's better to avoid it. Okay, I really like wiring. There's only one thing that I don't like about wiring, and that's the price of the wire. For the rest, I think it's fun. Okay, so I need to make a bend here, and this wire is absolutely not sufficient. So I need a bigger piece. And I'm going to put it on top of this one. Well, not on top, but a little higher. So I'll start by pressing this one nicely against the trunk. Here I have a few pieces of raffia sticking out. Okay, so this is already difficult. Have to go between these, yeah. And I'm not going to use more than that. I'm going to fix the wire here around that would-be gin, because anchoring is as important in the top as it is in the in the lowest part. So now I have to I have to make a bend right here. So that's the tricky thing. So I have to find a position where I can do that. That's a little better, but really not enough. So I need to do a little more. So I have a little piece of round wood here that I can insert between the two in this fork, and by pushing these together, of course, I'm going to get my bend. Now that's a whole lot better. Now I should be able to bend this back a little, but that might be tricky. So question is, should I, how can you do that without breaking everything? So this I want to keep this way, and then I have to make another bend the other way. So here I'm going to grab the would-be gin and bend this back. That's again one of these reasons why it is a good idea to not completely remove stumps when you are not sure that you are not going to need them. Okay. So let's have a look. Yeah, I think the trunk line is quite okay. And now this piece must come a little more to here. Let me see. I think it's a little high, and therefore I'm going to choose a apex somewhere here. So I have to bend this apex to a place where I don't have a lot of foliage. So I'm going to look in the back. I have foliage here, here, but nothing right in the back. So I'm going to put that apex right in the back. And then this portion can become the new apex, and I can do that by twisting this branch just a little bit. And so this is now my apex. And I'll bring it forward just a little bit, like so. And this can be wired, of course. So, we're slowly getting there. So my next job is going to be to do something with this portion here, which is a side branch, and well, not sure about this one. Kind of like this one. It's way too long, but that's, well, manageable. So it's not that long anymore. I'd like to get that flat, give it some movement, and maybe put a little wire on this to make it a nice little gin. Well, I think it's going to be a little long. Well, I think this branch should come here, Don't forget, when this big portion is going to be removed as an air layer, it's gonna leave a big gap. So yeah, I need to wire this one, and then I need to have a look at the back. So because I want to twist this branch, it's now in this direction, if you understand what I'm trying to say, because we have some foliage down, up, and I want to give it a little twist like that, so I have to apply the wire in this direction, which is it clockwise? Yes, it's clockwise. So, piece of wire, little flaky bark that I can remove, anchoring the wire. Well, no one was suspecting that this was going to be a long and boring video, but okay, I mean, first of all, no one has to watch this video, and if you like it, well, this is how I styled this tree for the very first time. And it is a slow process with lots of interruptions because, well, I want to do that right, and I'm not as handy and fast as some of these professional guys that you see online. So I guess if you're just an amateur like I am, this might even give you some confidence in your own work. And my wiring is not fast, but I'm trying to do it as clean as I can, because that's the most effective way to do it. These are very thin branches, so if you don't want to rip everything off, it is slow. So now I'm going to twist slowly this branch by grabbing the wire, and you probably see it move. And the little branch in the just under it, I'm not going to use it. But the question is, what do I do if this one doesn't make it? Well, I have a problem then. So if this one does nice, well, I can remove this. If this one doesn't do it nice, well, then I have a backup. So I'm going to try to get the same movement in this one than in this one. And it is possible, of course, with the juniper that one day you want to get all your branches down. That's a restyle. It's also something that you might consider. So up, because that's what trees do. They grow up. And then down, and then up again, and down, and then maybe a little lateral movement. Do I want it more in the front or in the back? Well, yeah, I'm going to try to show you this. Now you see I have a branch here, and you want your branches on the exterior, so that's where I'm going to put my thumb on the other side, and I'm going to push the branch like so. Now this branch is definitely on the exterior of the bend, and that's what I'm going to do with on different points, always making sure that, you see I have a little branch here, so I'll put my thumb on the other side, make the bend like so, and now this is on the exterior, which makes it a little more interesting. I can maybe emphasize the bend here a little, and like so. Okay, so well, here we have it. Juvenile foliage, not great, but yeah. So after some thinking, so this is the front, I feel that the opening between the back parts and the front part is a little too big. So obviously this branch here that I ginned yesterday was not a good option. But maybe I can get these, the main trunk and the back portion, a little more together by putting a wire from here to here and then tie it. It would make the whole tree a little more compact. So I think I'm going to try that. So I'm going to anchor the wire on this piece of wood that I will not use, that is supposed to become a gin, and then somewhere here around this portion that is also supposed to become a gin after I air layered it, but it already had some raffia, so that's gonna work fine. So I'm going to take a piece of copper and do that. So this brings the back a little closer to the front. Which makes these branches far more usable. This one is still a big question, because if you look at it, it's growing to the inside of the tree. So if I really want to use it, I have to get it somewhere here, which I can do. And this one somewhere here, which I also can do. The thing is, I think that maybe in the future I'm not going to need any of these, but okay, well, I have it now. So I might as well wire these. So give them a little movement. Give this a little movement. It's not possible to twist this. So probably, well, they'll have to go in a year or two. So I'm going to wire this one up to here, this one up to there, and I'll be right back. So I need this branch to do this and come a little more in the back and to the side. So I'm going to grab the wire give it that initial movement. And do that gradually. Okay. Always watch these points where the branch can tear. So if you see a little tear, it's not that bad, but it's better to avoid it, of course. Now I have to push it a little to the side. And the back. It's difficult because I have a branch here that I don't want to damage. So it's not easy. Should have had a little more wire here. It's just well, can put it under. Yeah. Now this is not well done. This is a lousy job. But it will do the trick. Like so. It's a little arch, but it will be okay. Anyways, it's too long. I'll have to work with the smaller foliage in the future. And then this, well, I'm planning to make kind of secondary trunk in the back with this. So let me see. The gap is here. I'm going to get it a little more straight, which is possible, and turn it to the inside. So, like this. And then give it that movement. And maybe try to bend it a little more. So that it goes down a little. And then bring it back to the outside. Like so. Yeah. And it's almost flat, so that's good. Can make it even a little more flat. These are quite tight bends. Slightly overdoing it, because it will bounce back, of course. Okay. So here we have the little branches that we need to use in the future, and some are long, some are short, but they're all alive, which is nice. And I could wire them. They're rather small. I don't want to do that because I don't want to lose these. And so I think that's gonna be it. Let me have a look. This one has to come here. And I'm not completely sure about this apex here. I think I'm going to give it a final little twist here so that this becomes more the top. So it's a little straighter now, and then I have to get this portion to the back, but I don't want to move this again, so I'm going to grab that while I'm doing this. Okay. Then maybe one little wire here for this one, just to give it a basic movement. You see, this very thin, so it's just for the view, you know. It's a basic small coil around, and well, it's really all just for the video. Wouldn't do it otherwise. It's not helping anything in this stage. It's just to put this down a little so that the view is a little nicer. I think that's it. I'm gonna clean up. So this is the final result. Some things will have to be adjusted, some gins will have to be made, and some growing has to be done. So that's something for the coming years. Don't create a tree in one day. That's not possible. I had a whole lot of fun doing this. I know that this video is a very long and probably boring video. I'm going to edit it now and probably speed up every little part that I can. But this is how I did it. I hope that you found it interesting. And yeah, that's all that I can say. So here a little 360. This tree has to grow a whole lot. Okay. So this concludes the work. I hope that it was interesting. Well, I tried to make it interesting. That's all I have for you today. So thank you for watching and see you next time.